Africa ain't built no ship and came back over here and rescued one nigga since we left from Africa. Yeah, and Africans don't like us. Yeah, nigga, Africans don't fuck with us. They don't like us, and they stink. Yeah, and they some stinky people. Yeah, niggas, fuck Africa.
Some tribes don't like tribes.
Exactly.
Right here in Africa. Like, you the same people from the same land, and your tribal differences make you dislike one another. Just like she said, back home, it's brothers 63rd, 64th. That's one street over.
Wow.
And you killing each other.
Chicago faces an epidemic of gun violence. This year alone, more than 2,100 people have been shot, more than 400 killed.
I know people who can't walk from their house to the store without a gun on them.
Why is that a reality? Why do people feel like they have to have a gun on them?
Because people getting killed left and right. It's sad.
I got shot twice and I could have been gone, but I'm still here, so that's God. I know that's what, so this hell on earth.
It's hell on earth?
Yeah, it's hell on earth.
So this is something that has, like she said, from the colonizers, that has been perpetually put into our brains to keep us from rising. It is a part of what's keeping us from united. Divided kingdom cannot stand. And so they have constantly created these different divisions, whether they'll use anything, whatever we give them to create a fence. They'll use it, and then that offense in turn causes us to be at each other. Whether it be, you're from America, I'm from here, you're from this tribe, I'm from that tribe. You got on blue, I got on red.
It's always something.
It's always
Yeah,
something.
because they know just how powerful we could be if we unite.
Exactly.
So, you know, even when I came here, just to expand on that a little bit, when I moved to Tanzania, there were a lot of Europeans that were doing business there, living there, and they would ask me, well, what are you doing here? You know why they asked me that? Because they felt like they were successful at dividing us and we would never return. But now that we're returning, they're asking me, what am I doing here? But I should be asking you. This is where we belong.
Exactly.
Where we from? Walmart. What's the Walmart of Ghana? Milcom. Nobody has a problem. You go to a lot of the major restaurants that are coming in that are like the upscale or decent restaurant. It's also owned by the Lebanese people. Where is the trending topic that says, do Africans like Lebanese people? You
So
never see those.
So the topic should actually be, do Africans like Lebanese people?
Well, the reason you'll never see that is because the ones who create these narratives to keep us divided won't benefit from that one.
Exactly. Hello, beautiful people. My name is Lorianne, and today we're filming the first episode of the podcast. I'm super excited and have two amazing guests with me, Lala and Mooney. So today we're going to talk about some spicy, juicy topics. We're going to talk about the differences of Americans and Black Americans and Africans on the motherland and Africans in the diaspora. Is it really how people think it is? Is the internet right? Or are the people right?
Africa ain't built no ship and came back over here and rescued one nigga since we left from Africa. Yeah, and Africans don't like us. Yeah, nigga, Africans don't fuck with us. They don't like us, and they stink. Yeah, and they some stinky people. Yeah, niggas, fuck Africa.
So let's find out today, because the tea is sizzling hot. So hello, Lala and Mooney. Welcome. How are you guys feeling today?
I'm feeling amazing, and I'm very grateful that you had me on this show today.
All praises to the Most High. It's a blessing to be here.
Amazing, amazing. So all three of us, we've been in Ghana for a while, but not so long. So how are you guys feeling now, like coming to Ghana, living here, experiencing Ghana, and seeing the differences in America and here?
Well, I must say, I really feel at home now that I've been here for 9 months. Everything in America is foreign to me. There's only a few things that I miss, but there's a lot more things that I don't miss. So yeah, I love Ghana. I really feel like it aligns with my Jamaican background and my time that I spent in Jamaica. Yeah.
I know for me, one of the reasons that the Most High called me out of America, aka Babylon, was because of some of the things that is going on, and it's just intensified since I've been out of Babylon. And so, yeah, it's a blessing to be out of Babylon. All praises to the Most High.
Amazing. I feel the same way. So you guys mentioned like the differences. What is the biggest difference of being black in America and being black here in Africa or in Ghana?
Well, I must say the biggest difference is I feel much more safe in Africa because I'm no longer a minority, opposed to in America where you're just anxious even if you're not black because there's so much violence and we're targeted as black people in America and we're not targeted here. So it's just a more relaxed feeling. I have less anxiety here.
I gotta be honest. It's a big difference. One of the biggest things that I recognized and realized was, like she said, just looking around and only seeing your people.
I know.
But there is people here who don't see us as their people. And you're targeted for different reasons. Sometimes financially, you're targeted. They'll see you as an opportunity to come up. They'll overcharge you and try to exploit you that way. And any confrontation or issue where there's some type of disagreement, I have experienced instantly, they'll let me know that they see us as different in certain circumstances.
Okay. And how does that make you feel?
Well, when you come from the trauma that we come from, I don't know if anybody could do worse than where I come from. So it's not one of those situations that just make me feel like it's something I can't overcome. I feel like I'm here to be a part of the solution of uniting the Most High's people. And it's time for us to awaken as a people and understand that unity is important. So I look at the situation as an opportunity to be more of the solution than the problem.
Okay.
I feel like it's a lack of understanding, you know, and you want that understanding, but that there's some people are not aware of the environment we really come from, and that's why I feel like repatriating during this time is only for a certain type of individual that can handle certain judgments, certain challenges that comes with repatriating during this time, because later on, maybe 20 years from now, so many people won't be as ignorant to what we actually go through in America.
Exactly, because you mentioned some of the stuff like the financial exploitation and the people look at you differently, but what are some of the things that also happen but that no one really talks about?
That's one of the major things. And also, I mean, as far as besides being targeted, I don't know, I can't think of another challenge here that I face in Africa.
Because when you say targeting, what do you exactly mean? Is it like physical? Is it more bullying? How can people understand?
Guys, I live in a beach area, and there's a lot of beach boys that are just looking for women that have us, they see me as like a dollar sign. Yeah, passport bros in Africa. Well, they're not really passport bros, but they're just like gigolos.
Oh, wow.
Looking for an American because they think all American women are rich. So, yeah, I experienced that. Not much, but it happens. Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying that there are a lot of gigolos here in Ghana. For the people that don't know what a gigolo is, can you explain what that is?
Like a male prostitute.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna say how everybody out here is like that, but you do have people that are in poverty and they see that as a one way out of it.
Okay, so basically we're talking about, I wouldn't say sex tourism because that's something different, but it's closely coming to that point actually.
Yeah, sex tourism, definitely, that's what it is.
So with all that, how has dating in Ghana been for you?
Well, I tend to stick to people who have something on their own, someone who's somewhat independent, so that they're not looking to me to save them. Yeah. That's the only way you can avoid it. But if they're in poverty, it's going to be so much that, you don't know if they're really with you for you or for what you bring to the table. Exactly. Yeah, or what they think you bring to the table. Yeah.
It seems they always think you have more than what you have. That's not just here, that's also in America. I experienced that as America, being a young guy who was in the streets at one time. People will target you because they think you got more than what you have. You know, the story is always pushed up more than what it seems. So I've also experienced that here as well. Like they just look at you like you a millionaire.
Wow.
In U.S. money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. So has it been like for me personally? It has been really hard to make friends. I know a lot of people, but maybe I don't have that many friends. But when it comes to like people from the diaspora, it's easy. I can make a lot of friends. I meet a lot of people. When it comes to the local people, especially Ghanaian women, it's so different.
Yeah, it's different because I've heard like when you invite Ghanaian women out, like they expect you to pay, and they say like that is a common thing to do, but I think a lot of it goes into them thinking that we have money and we can afford to pay.
Yes, it's almost not a real friendship.
Yeah,
it's like an exchange,
a convenience,
or I don't know, an internship. Like,
yeah,
it's something. It's not like a normal,
a real friendship
because where we come from in the diaspora, we're used to having different friends from different classes and places. Some of the friends have, I don't know, money, some of them are good, some not, so it doesn't really matter. But I feel like here, it's really like you almost need to like stick to your class.
Exactly.
How have you guys been experiencing
Yeah, that's definitely what I've experienced, and I haven't made any friends here in Ghana. I mean, I have associates that I talk to. There's some pretty nice Ghanaian women when you move around the country, but
oh, you've met me now.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't judge, I don't generalize. So of course you run into things like that, but over time I've met some people that have went against the grain. So yeah.
I mean, I guess it's different for me. You know, I'm a male. I have a family, so I'm not really looking to make too many friends. As far as those of my brothers who are of the Hebrew community, we do stick together. We do rock out for the most part. I have some very good brothers that I was able to connect with before even touching down, and we was able to just keep it going as soon as I touched down. So I haven't had any issues with them, but I can say I'm just the type of person, like, when I hire people, I'm not gonna treat you like you're the help. That's just not me. I'm the type of person where if I'm eating, I don't feel right if you don't have any food.
Exactly, yeah.
And what I've noticed is, you know, the few people outside of one that I've had around me that were here, they did not know how to navigate that situation without taking advantage of it in a way that made me have to end that relationship. So I guess that's the best I can speak on it.
Yeah.
I think for me to make friends with someone, the main question I ask is, do you have a lack mentality or do you have an abundant mentality? And you will run into both types, whether you're in America or you're in anywhere in Africa. So that is the main thing that you know, solidifies a relationship for me, because I know if we don't have the same mindset, we won't get along.
Yeah, so one of the topics that I really wanted to discuss is Africans don't like Black Americans. It's quiet. Is that true? Is it not true? How do you guys feel about it?
Yeah, Africa ain't built no ship and came back over here and rescued one nigga since we left from Africa. Yeah, and Africans don't like us. Yeah, nigga, Africans don't fuck with us. They don't like us, and they stink. Yeah, and they some stinky people. Yeah, niggas, fuck Africa. Yeah, they ain't our people. We niggas, slaves, the descendants of slaves. They would never call no nigga. The first group of Africans, only one generation. Now the first group came. They wasn't born into this shit. Me and your people was born into this, homie. They were born slaves. They birth certificates say nigga. They was born in Africa. They are not us. They know what tribe they come from. They had a language. Once they broke them from the language and we was born in these conditions. We ain't no Africans. We ain't no Hebrew. We nigga. Bottom line, homie.
I don't think that they don't like us. I just think that there's like a strategy that the colonizers have used against us to like divide us and to think that we don't like one another. So I think you know, that we have certain things that separates us in America, certain things that separates us in a neighborhood, certain things that separate us all together. So when you come to Africa, it just expands.
You hit, she nailed it, right? She nailed it, because some tribes don't like tribes.
Exactly.
Right here in Africa, like, you the same people from the same land, and your tribal differences make you dislike one another. Just like she said, back home, it's brothers 63rd, 64th. That's one street over.
Wow.
And you killing each other. So this is something that has, like she said, from the colonizers, that has been perpetually put into our brains to keep us from rising. It is a part of what's keeping us from united. Divided kingdom cannot stand. And so they have constantly created these different divisions, whether they'll use anything, whatever we give them to create a fence. They'll use it, and then that offense in turn causes us to be at each other. Whether it be, you're from America, I'm from here, you're from this tribe, I'm from that tribe. You got on blue, I got on red.
It's always something.
It's always
Yeah,
something.
because they know just how powerful we could be if we unite.
Exactly.
So, you know, even when I came here, just to expand on that a little bit, when I moved to Tanzania, there were a lot of Europeans that were doing business there, living there, and they would ask me, well, what are you doing here? You know why they asked me that? Because they felt like they were successful at dividing us and we would never return. But now that we're returning, they're asking me, what am I doing here? But I should be asking you. This is where we belong.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've had the same conversation over and over again because, as I said, I'm from Angola, but I grew up, born and raised in Holland. So when I came to Ghana, everyone is asking me, why Ghana? What are you doing here? What is an Angolan doing in Ghana? But I'm a creative director. I'm a filmmaker. I tell stories. And if you look at all the movies that are being made, it's all made by white people. So when they go somewhere, it's okay. No one asks them nothing. So when a white person goes to, I don't know, from Holland to France or to Portugal, no one asks them anything. But when we go somewhere, it becomes a problem. It's then, why are you here?
Not even coming to Africa, no one asks them anything.
Exactly.
So you just said a mouthful. I'll give you an example. Where we from? Walmart. What's the Walmart of Ghana? Milcom. Nobody has a problem. You go to a lot of the major restaurants that are coming in that are like the upscale or decent restaurants. It's also owned by the Lebanese people. Where is the trending topic that says, do Africans like Lebanese people? You
So
never see those.
So the topic should actually be, do Africans like Lebanese people?
Well, the reason you'll never see that is because the ones who create these narratives to keep us divided won't benefit from that one.
Exactly. It's really true. And then also, it's really true. And then also, it's always defending yourself. And I was having this conversation with my friend. I am a creative director, filmmaker, make music videos. At one point, all the music videos were being filmed here in Ghana. So most of my clients, they wanted to come here. If you look at like Beyonce, Wizkid, everything was being filmed here. So I go to the source. And then it's always, but you're a black person, but you're from Angola, but you're not Ghanaian. But it's never like, oh, you're an amazing creative and you're going where your field is. So it's always having to deal with race. Sometimes you just want to be. And I see myself as just Lorian. That's how I see myself. So I go wherever I want to go. And wherever I feel like, okay, this is what I want to do, that I want to do. But it seems like there's never really space for that. It's always like, oh, you're Black American. Oh, why are you going here? Why are you going there? Exactly. You know? Yeah. Sometimes you just want to remove that and just be a person to just go somewhere.
Right. And as a black woman, it's really hard to travel without being mistaken as like an escort or a sex worker. Yeah, they don't. Worldwide, people don't believe that black women deserve luxury. Yeah, so when we traveled to Tanzania, there's a friend of mine who was someone attempted to rape her while she was there. But they didn't attempt to rape the white women because they know not to touch those women, you know, but they assume like we're there for sex, you know, because in these countries, most women, you know, they don't have the same opportunities that we have overseas. So it's just a lack of like information and education.
So when you came
And
there, they treated you
respect.
differently.
Respect,
You say
right.
it's just I didn't,
We don't respect
there's
ourselves.
there's a mental note that says I must respect this person of Caucasian descent. But like you said, that same thought process is not put towards our own people, which is exactly why we can be in a land that is so rich in resources, that literally is feeding the world from its resources, yet is at the bottom of the barrel. It's because of our mental. Everything that operates, your mind controls what your hands do, what your body do, how you move, how you think, how you function. And so we have been mentally sick as a people on a level to where it makes them very easy to exploit us. And they constantly do it by just playing on our minds.
Let me tell you something I experienced here in Ghana, in Osu. I didn't know that there were sex workers as much as they were, right? So I was just strolling down the street. I had a shirt that was covering everything, and my shorts were like down to here, and they were loose. And this guy, I was walking the streets because in California, as a black woman, I could just walk as much as I want to and get my exercise and listen to my music. But I'm listening to my music, and this guy, he says, "How much?"
Oh, wow.
I said, "How much for what?" And he was like, "How much?" And I was like, "Excuse me?" And I picked out my phone like it was a gun, and I was like, "Do you know I'm a YouTuber here promoting Ghana? And you're asking me how much? Look at what I'm wearing." Like, but then I quickly got defensive, but I realized as I looked around, oh my gosh, all these women are sex workers, and they're not Ghanaian, they're actually foreigners.
Most of them are Nigerians, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's funny you say that. There was a situation, you know, because what I saw when I see that, because I've rode past that several times, and just being someone who is a true believer who wants to see my people. I don't look down on nobody. I don't care what your path was. We all have struggles. We all have things that we need to overcome and grow out of. And so I just saw that everybody just goes past. If it's not somebody that's purchasing, it's like we just look and just keep going. And so I took the time to actually stop to actually speak with a young lady, pay her for her time, just for me to tell her you're better than this. And so I learned that a lot of them are not even here willingly.
Yes, there's a
They're
lot
here
of
by
sex
force.
trafficking going around, a lot. And how
On the side of the street, I'm sorry, a car tried to run me off the road because I guess that person didn't respect the prostitutes or something, and they thought that I was a prostitute. So I'm like, wow, like you would try to run me off the road just off an assumption? Yeah. So those are the things that aren't talked about enough.
Yeah, that's new to me as well. I'm also shocked, like what that.
You got to
like
be
that
careful. You
happen.
can't walk the streets in Osu and cantonments in these rich areas with short shorts or anything that shows any skin, because they're going to assume you're a prostitute.
Yeah, and also what I realized is that certain things, I was just having this conversation today actually about walking. I like walking. Sometimes you just want to walk. It's not every day Uber all day. You just want to walk, and I just like bare cars stopping, and I'm talking about like 10 cars, and they want to get your number, or they're like, "Were you okay? Something wrong? Why are you walking?" There's taxi stopping, beeping, like, "Where are you going?" I'm just like, what is going on? I'm just going for a walk, you know. But when you look good, you look nice, you look decent, for them it's like poverty. Like, why are you walking? You should be in a car. So they still have that like old school mentality of back in the days, and that's the reason why shoes to this day are so important to us black people, because that also comes from slavery. Because if you had shoes, that meant that you are free, you're not a slave anymore. So that's actually, you know, more like of an American thing, right? With the sneakers and the shoes, it still comes from slavery. It's still left over from slavery. When you meet someone, a lot of women, when they meet a guy, oh, his shoes weren't nice. You weren't wearing nice shoes, so it's not my type. That still like says something about a person. So when you're walking on the street with slippers, they're like, girl, are you okay? Is something wrong? So it's still that like enslaved mentality that goes so deep. Yeah, so deep, and that to a point that you can't even just walk somewhere and just be. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Just to go back to the conversation that you had with the sex worker, how did that go?
Oh, she was very receptive to everything I was saying. That's why she told me, she let me know like this was not what she wanted to do. That someone basically told her she was gonna have a job, and she didn't find out what the situation was until she was taken out of her country. And so, you know, I ended up buying a young lady a Bible, just praying with her and just doing the best that I could. But I just wanted to at least stop and say something, you know, finding out that the situation was not like her will. It bothered me even more. But it's just, I think it's something that with the right people coming together, we definitely need some type of outreach, some type of resource that can help, because it's a serious thing. And I've driven on the street and seen like 40 of them out there.
Yeah.
And they're young. I'm talking about
especially
anywhere
in
from
Osu.
15 to 20. Young women. This is our people. What if it's your daughter?
Exactly.
What if it's your granddaughter? What if it's your
Exactly.
sister who is being snatched
That's one of
up
the
in this
things
type
that
of
I
situation?
always talk about. No one cares about Africans. No one cares about black people. We don't even care about ourselves. And if you look at other people, if you look at the Chinese, the Lebanese, the Turkish, they all go back to build their country. It's only us, black people, that just run away and don't do anything. So I feel like for me, coming back, when people ask me, oh, why are you here? I'm like, if we're not going to build this Africa, who's going to do it?
Exactly.
Who is going to do it? Like, I don't know who is going to... Exactly. But we don't want to sit here and stick to it. It's not perfect. It's not great. It's not fairy tale. Ghana is not always fun. It's not always great. The struggle is real over here. But at least you're with your people. Because out there, we're struggling for a white man.
Yeah, but it's all about priority and what people prioritize, you know. And some people don't see us as one. They think they're not African.
Exactly.
You know? So, because they don't want to be a part of the struggle, you know. So they would rather dissociate from it altogether than to even embrace Africa or embrace, you know, the beginning of something.
Even being Africa, I know with those of us, and a lot of Africans from across the continent are a part of the 10 tribes. A lot of us that went into the slave trade are original Hebrew bloodline Abraham descendants, and even the word African has become somewhat of a byword. Like it's less than. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why a lot of our people don't want to identify that. They feel like it make them less than.
Yeah.
Because the mindset that has been put out on Africa and the what's
Media.
the word I'm looking for? The media, how it's been portrayed is impoverished, low, you know. And so they're ashamed to even attach themselves to it, not knowing you come over here and you see how beautiful and rich it is. So you have to be a visionary, like my sister was saying. You have to be someone who sees and understands that, hey, that wasn't nothing but a bush in a jungle until they took us and made us build it. So how about we build something for ourselves, which we had already been doing prior to this situation happening.
Exactly. That's absolutely true.
About black people, though, it's like when a group of us starts running in one direction,
We all
everyone
go.
will follow. So even if they're not the pioneers and the people who come to embrace the struggle, eventually 15, 20 years, lots of people will be moving to Africa.
Yes, definitely. There's definitely a new wave coming up, and it's super excited to be part of it because this is definitely the new future. And I'm also seeing it going to America, and especially now it's mostly like the Nigerian men that are doing good because the Nigerians, they're just go-getters. You know, whether you like it or not, they're go-getters. They go somewhere and they always make it. So there's this new wave coming up of like Nigerian and also Ghanaian men going to America, and the ladies love them.
Yeah.
The ladies love them. So why do black American women love African men?
Well, I can speak on that.
Like that giggle says enough.
Yeah, I think it's just a contrast. Like, it's the contrast, a well-needed contrast. And I think it's the same for black American men when they meet African women. Like, there's such a battle between black American women and men where we don't seem to like each other very much most of the time because we're just so similar, you know. So when you come here to Africa, it's like a relief that, you know, the things that is missing from, that we feel is missing from our men, we get here, like the more traditional aspect.
And what are those things?
She just said a key word. You said traditional. So when you look at America versus here, there's still a lot of the original traditional things with household, family. When you go back and you look at America and you look into the 60s, that was the backbone of the civil rights movement. It was the family, right? And so they actually sat down, the powers that be, we know who they are. They actually sat down and determined on how to divide the family. So it goes back to that divide and conquer we was talking about. They have divided the black woman and the black man in America. So yeah, it would be easier for them to navigate to anything that they think is different because of the division that has been placed on us mentally from the colonizer and oppressors.
So I've been dating a guy here in Ghana, Ghanaian guy, and honestly, like, he just feels balanced, more balanced with him than the relationships I've had in America, because it just feels like home. I'm supposed to be here, and like you said, the backbone of our culture in America just, was more similar to the balance that you guys have here in Africa. And so even when couples come here from America, it's a balance that is refreshed in that relationship, just being around people who set a certain example for you.
I think so too, and I think for me, what the biggest difference, not difference, but like more, it's more like balance, like you say. I really think that African men, they really take care of their women and their kids. I think that's very important because me personally, I didn't grow up like that. I grew up with my mom and dad. They're still married to that day in the same household. And my family is also like that. But from my tribe, I'm from the Bakongo tribe. That's really like a strong tribe. So we really have those strong beliefs still. So for me, that was normal. But growing up, you realize that that's not how it is everywhere. And I feel like there's been a misconception of like black men, they don't take care of their children, they're deadbeats, they're this, they're that. And then coming to Africa, you're like, wow, that's actually not true. It's really not true. They really take care of their women and their kids.
And it's crazy, it's a lot of American men that do the same thing. But just as they have perpetuated and portrayed Africa as a certain way, there's a certain stigma that they try to attach to the American man as well. So it's just us being able to defeat it. And one thing I would say, just to add, is negativity seems to always get all the shine, especially in 2023. Any negative situation always seems to be what is put to the forefront to where it begins to speak for everyone. Like, even if you see something in this amount of Ghanaians, you cannot say this represents Ghanaians or this amount of people from the diaspora. This does not represent all people from the diaspora, and we have to be very careful with that.
Exactly. There are a lot of misconceptions. We're already so far divided, and now with all of us coming together, we keep dividing more. Oh, now this is diasporans, now this is UK girls, now this is black American men, now this is that. So the dividing just continues, even here in the motherland.
Yeah, I agree. But, it's only so much you can do in the future, because they didn't think that we would unite, but we're uniting. It's happening. It may be happening slowly, but it will be increased very soon.
And I would say this too, is even with us, like if you even look at some of the topics that we bring up, we must always close it with Nigerians got the same DNA, a lot of them that I have in me, and that many of the diaspora, we the same people. So if we keep creating our own classisms and separations, then we're going to continue to be divided and not see each other as equal and see each other as our brothers. Like, you my brother, it doesn't matter if you was raised on this side of the water and I was on that side of the water. We have to understand that we're brothers, and we are in a position as a people. We're the majority, yet we're being ruled by the minorities because they are always linked in. They are always in sync, but we are not. And the time has passed for them to keep getting us with the same old game, with the same old 1-2.
Divide and conquer.
Exactly. It's time
just
for us
like
to put
the Jim Crow laws in America.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, amazing. I think that's a great closing statement for today. Once again, I would love to thank my guests, Lala and Mooney. We had some interesting topics that we spoke on today. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.